Hello and welcome back to Healthy Life Keys, your trusted space for senior health and wellness. Did you know that reheating just one bowl of soup with spinach could quietly increase your risk of cancer? Or that your leftover potatoes might be harboring one of the deadliest toxins known to man without any smell or taste? Shocking, right? And here's something even more surprising. Something as innocent as a reheated scrambled egg might be nudging your arteries toward inflammation day by day, year by year. Most of us grew up thinking reheating leftovers was smart, frugal, even healthy. But after 60, our bodies change, and some common foods that once nourished us might now be quietly doing harm. At Healthy Life Keys, we dive deep into the science without the scare tactics. So if you're over 60 or love someone who is, this episode could truly change your daily habits and protect your long-term brain and body health. So grab a cup of tea, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more senior-friendly health wisdom. Now, let's explore the 5 everyday foods you should never reheat. 1. Spinach, when superfood becomes a silent risk. Spinach is a nutritional powerhouse, but reheat it, and it may quietly turn on your body. Spinach is rich in iron, fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins A, C, and K. It supports healthy blood pressure, bone strength, and even exercise recovery. But under the wrong conditions, it may become more harmful than helpful. Spinach contains naturally high levels of nitrates. In their original form, nitrates can actually benefit circulation. But when spinach is cooked, stored, and then reheated, especially in the microwave or at high heat, those nitrates break down into nitrites, which can further convert into nitrosamines. And nitrosamines have been linked to increased risks of stomach and colorectal cancers, according to both the National Cancer Institute and the WHO. What's more concerning is their impact on the brain. Research published in Neurology has shown that long-term exposure to nitrosamines contributes to cognitive decline and increased oxidative stress in neurons. In older adults whose ability to detoxify declines with age, this subtle damage accumulates faster. And here's something most people miss. The microwave heats unevenly. That bowl of soup with spinach floating on top? It might not be reheating uniformly. One spoonful might be lukewarm, the next scalding, and that inconsistent temperature can create perfect conditions for nitrate conversion without fully killing off other heat-sensitive toxins. The texture remains pleasant, the aroma familiar. But, on a molecular level, the dish has changed. Let's say you make a big batch of vegetable soup on Sunday, loaded with spinach. On Tuesday, you reheat it in the microwave. That reheating may have generated harmful nitrosamines, even though the food looks and smells perfectly fine. And it's not just soups. Think about spinach quiche, leftover spinach lasagna, or even sautéed spinach folded into omelettes or pasta dishes. Reheating these the wrong way means you could be exposing yourself to hidden compounds that build up slowly, never announcing themselves with urgency, just a gentle tap on your health day by day. In a body over 60, where cellular repair slows and detox pathways work harder, even small chemical insults add up. And over time, those little exposures, the ones we ignore, can be the ones that change everything. Now, if you think that was surprising, wait until you hear what a simple, reheated potato can do inside your gut. 2. Potatoes, a comfort food that can breed dangerous bacteria. Love mashed potatoes? You might want to think twice before reheating them from the fridge. Potatoes are a beloved comfort food, but once cooked, cooled and stored improperly, they can become a dangerous breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, a bacterium that thrives in low oxygen, moist environments, like foil-wrapped or poorly refrigerated potatoes. This bacteria releases botulinum toxin, a neurotoxin that can cause nausea, dizziness, fatigue, and in extreme cases, paralysis. You might not smell or see anything wrong with your leftover potatoes, but the risk is very real, particularly for older adults with weaker immune defenses. And here's the catch. Even a small amount of this toxin can have dramatic effects. Unlike spoiled food that emits a bad odor or grows visible mold, botulinum-contaminated potatoes may look perfectly safe. That cold, creamy scoop of mashed potatoes from Sunday night's dinner? If stored in foil, then reheated improperly, it might be carrying a risk you can't taste or detect. It's a silent invader, one that doesn't need a warning label to do harm. Beyond bacteria, there's another hidden transformation: resistant starch formation. When potatoes cool, their starches undergo a process called retrogradation, turning into a form that resists digestion. While some resistant starch is good for the gut, rapid reheating, especially in a microwave, can make them harder to digest and spike inflammation. Why does this matter more after 60? As we age, stomach acid production often declines. So does the activity of digestive enzymes. The gut lining becomes more vulnerable, and the microbiome, your internal army of good bacteria, shrinks in diversity. This means a food that once gave you comfort can now leave you feeling bloated, sluggish, or achy, especially if it's reheated in a way that degrades its structure. And there's more. Reheated potatoes, especially those exposed to air and light, may develop small amounts of acrylamide, a compound linked to oxidative stress and potential nerve damage. Acrylamide forms when starchy foods are cooked at high heat and then recooked or browned again. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. Imagine this. You made rosemary roasted potatoes on Sunday. You wrap the leftovers in foil and toss them in the fridge. On Tuesday, you microwave them quickly for lunch, and they smell great. But under the surface, resistant starch, acrylamide, or even microbial activity might be working against you. Potatoes may cause digestive upset and bacterial risk. But what about a staple many of us rely on for brain health and protein? Let's talk about eggs. 3. Eggs. A breakfast hero with a hidden reheating hazard. Reheating eggs might seem harmless, but could it be compromising your heart and your memory? Eggs are an incredible source of high-quality protein, choline, and healthy fats, making them a breakfast favorite for all ages. They support muscle repair, cognitive health, and hormonal balance. In fact, many doctors recommend them for seniors looking to maintain lean mass and brain sharpness. But what many don't realize is that how you reheat your eggs matters, possibly more than what type of eggs you eat in the first place. When eggs are first cooked, their proteins undergo a natural transformation. The long, coiled amino acid chains unfold, becoming easier for your digestive enzymes to access. But when you reheat those same eggs, especially in the microwave or at very high temperatures, those proteins begin to cross-link and toughen. This restructuring not only makes the egg rubbery and dry, but also harder for your body to digest. For older adults with weakened enzyme output or low stomach acid, that means more work for fewer nutrients. But there's a more insidious shift happening beneath the surface. Cholesterol oxidation. Egg yolks are rich in dietary cholesterol, which on its own isn't inherently dangerous. But when exposed repeatedly to high heat, This cholesterol can break down into compounds called oxysterols, and oxysterols are far from innocent. According to research published in the Journal of Lipids, oxysterols are linked to vascular inflammation, oxidative stress, and an increased risk of atherosclerosis and cognitive decline. They can irritate blood vessel walls, disrupt mitochondrial function, and contribute to the kind of silent inflammation that gradually erodes health over time. For seniors who already face narrowing arteries and reduced cholesterol processing efficiency, this can accelerate aging from the inside. And then there's sulfur. Eggs naturally contain sulfur-rich amino acids, like cysteine and methionine. When eggs are overheated during reheating, these compounds can degrade into volatile sulfur gases, hence that familiar egg smell. But it's more than just an unpleasant odor. It's a sign that the egg structure has changed in a way your digestive system won't appreciate. That bloated, heavy feeling you get after reheated hard-boiled or scrambled eggs, that's not just in your head. That's your gut saying, "This is different now." Eggs may be tricky when reheated, but now let's look at a food that everyone agrees is healthy: lean chicken. But there's a surprising twist. 4. Chicken. Lean protein, but a hidden source of chronic inflammation. Think reheated chicken is a safe and lean lunch. For aging bodies, it could quietly fuel inflammation. Chicken is widely praised for being low in fat and high in protein. It's a staple in many health-focused meal plans, especially for older adults seeking lean nutrition. But here's what most people don't know. When chicken is cooked, cooled, and reheated, especially in a microwave, its protein structure undergoes further changes that may pose hidden risks. Initially, cooking denatures the protein, making it easier to digest. But reheating causes additional cross-linking of those proteins, making them tougher, less bioavailable, and harder for the body to break down. For seniors whose digestion naturally slows with age, this can lead to bloating, poor absorption, and metabolic stress. But there's a bigger problem: the formation of advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These toxic compounds form when proteins or fats combine with sugars under high heat, especially during roasting, grilling, and repeated reheating. That golden skin on your roasted chicken, it's tasty, but it's also a hotspot for ages. According to the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, ages have been linked to chronic inflammation, joint pain, insulin resistance, arterial stiffness, and even cognitive decline. Once in the body, they latch onto tissues, especially in the joints, arteries, and brain, triggering slow, silent damage over time. Imagine this common routine: grilled chicken on Sunday, microwaved for lunch on Tuesday, and again for dinner Thursday. The flavor might still hold, but with each reheating, you increase the load of ages and reduce nutrient quality. Your body feels it, maybe not as pain, but as sluggishness, stiffness, or fog. And here's the catch: ages are difficult to eliminate, especially with aging organs. They accumulate gradually, fueling systemic inflammation. The takeaway: cook chicken fresh when possible. If storing, use gentle reheating methods like steaming or low-temp stovetop warming to reduce age formation, or better yet, enjoy it cold in a salad with olive oil and lemon, preserving the protein while protecting your health. Now let's turn to a food that seems gentle and healing, but when reheated, may quietly disrupt your digestion and cellular balance. Mushrooms. 5. Mushrooms. The nutrient-dense food that breaks down under heat. Mushrooms are celebrated for immune support and fiber, but reheating them could strain your digestion and your brain. These earthy gems are packed with antioxidants, B vitamins, selenium, and immune-boosting beta-glucans. In their freshly cooked form, mushrooms are a nutritional ally, helping the body fight oxidative stress and inflammation. But once reheated, especially using high heat or microwaves, mushrooms begin to change in ways that older adults should not ignore. Mushrooms contain delicate proteins, enzymes, and polyunsaturated fats that are heat-sensitive. When reheated, these compounds degrade further, forming oxidized molecules and pro-inflammatory byproducts. This includes lipid peroxides and altered proteins that burden the body's detox and immune systems. For seniors, who often experience slower digestion, lower stomach acid, and reduced cellular repair, this added toxic load can contribute to uncomfortable symptoms over time. You may feel it as bloating, fatigue, low-grade inflammation, or subtle brain fog after eating. It's not just the mushrooms, it's what happens to them after being reheated. The texture also tells a story. Mushrooms that are chewy, rubbery, slimy, or sour after reheating are signaling chemical degradation. These aren't just culinary quirks, they're visible signs of structural breakdown. Unfortunately, many dismiss this as just leftover flavor, unaware of the deeper biological shift. Another concern is how mushrooms are stored. When kept in plastic containers or reheated in them, the risk of chemical leaching or oxidation increases, especially with oily sources. This creates a double exposure: compromised food and potential plastic-derived toxins. So what's the alternative? Cook only what you need or reheat mushrooms gently, preferably on the stovetop with a splash of broth or olive oil. Better yet, enjoy them cold in salads or grain bowls, where their nutrients are preserved and the risk of oxidation is minimized. Mushrooms are still a fantastic food, but like many gifts from nature, they're sensitive to mishandling. Treat them right, and they'll continue to nourish. Reheat carelessly, and they may do more harm than good. Now that we've uncovered the silent dangers in 5 common foods, let's turn to practical steps for eating smarter, aging stronger, and protecting your health every day. So there you have it. Friends, we've just walked through 5 everyday foods: spinach, potatoes, eggs, chicken, and mushrooms, that most of us have reheated for years without a second thought. But science is now clear. When these foods are cooked, cooled, and reheated improperly, especially after age 60, they can quietly generate harmful compounds like nitrosamines, oxysterols, ages, and even botulinum toxin that strain your brain, your gut, and your heart. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. Your body changes as you age. Digestion slows, detox pathways weaken, and that means your tolerance for these small daily habits becomes more limited. But with just a few smart changes, like avoiding high heat reheating, storing food properly, or eating certain items cold, you can keep enjoying the meals you love without silently harming your health. At Healthy Life Keys, our mission is to help you live smarter, stronger, and longer. Because true health isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you prepare, handle, and respect your food. Thank you for spending this time with us today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more seniors discover life-changing health tips like this. If you have a question or personal story about food and aging, drop it in the comments. We read every one. And don't forget to subscribe to Healthy Life Keys, so you never miss our weekly videos on senior nutrition, disease prevention, and simple daily habits that support a longer, clearer life. Until next time, Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. And remember, the smallest changes can bring the biggest blessings.